Have you ever wondered about those who dream of a better life versus those who create it? Are you waiting to accomplish your dreams and goals? Welcome to Create It Now. With your hosts, Jonathan Stowe, Dawn Elizabeth, and the business hypnotist, AJ Boyden. For the next 60 minutes, we're going to put your dreams into motion and create it now. The phone lines are open at 731-1230. That's 731-1230. Or toll free 1-866-820-5528. That's 1-866-820-KLAV. Now let's bring on the host and create it now. Here is Jonathan Stone, Dawn Elizabeth, and AJ Boyden.
Hi, welcome to Create It Now radio show. And I'm here with AJ and the lovely, amazing Dawn.
Hello.
Hello.
How's everyone?
Yes, I am here. Welcome, everybody.
Welcome. My name is Jonathan Stone, and I hope everybody caught yesterday's show with Les Brown. He taught me so much, and I kept thinking about it over and over. I actually didn't sleep because I was almost hypnotized by the things Les said and about taking action.
You know, he says so much in such a little amount of time. It's like you've got to listen it over again just to take your notes.
Yeah, and it played over and over in my head. And then what I realized is, like, we sit there and we always say, you know, someday I'm going to lose weight. Someday I'm going to work on my relationship. Someday I'm going to get a better career. But you know what? Someday is now. And we got to take action now. And that's why we're here. And the one thing that I really also thought about, the first step to doing that is calling us. That's why we've created this show, to help people, to reach out to people, and for people to know that they have angels and life coaches and business coaches. So take the first step. I don't care if you're driving your car right now. Pull over, dial us, call us in, tell us what you need. We are here for you. We are here to help you make a difference.
Yeah, you can call in at the toll-free number, 866-820-5528. If you're by a computer or on your phone, you can also tweet us or find us on Facebook, send us messages. Yesterday, we did get some messages through Les's interview, and I thank you to those who sent us questions that we could ask and get answered. That was really cool. So the community is starting. There's already a community going. Come and be a part of it. And so also yesterday we had Jase on. Jase Souder. We had part 1 of his interview, and today we're going to go into part 2 of the interview to finish it out, so we have the full amount. And you can also listen to part 1 on our website, www.createitnowmedia.com, so that you can get the full thing you can hear both pieces at one time.
Right, and I actually spoke to Jase today, and he said he had an amazing time in Utah, and he's on his way back to Vegas tomorrow.
And we're going to be with him tomorrow.
Yep.
And the one thing that he actually offered to all the Create It Now listeners is a $150 free program. So if you're with Create It Now and you go tomorrow to the event, he will give you a $150 free program. And I think that's amazing.
Wow.
He's another one of our angels. And so many people have become our angels. I mean, even Les yesterday offering to help people become speakers. And it's just wonderful, the overwhelming response that we are getting.
So go listen to the yesterday's show. You can go to our website, createitnowmedia.com, and you'll listen to yesterday's show. And there, Les will tell you to send an email to yes@lesbrown.com and mention our show, and he will send you some great training content, not just motivation, training content on how you can find your voice and make an impact on the world. And that's just amazing. Between the three of us, we know a lot of great trainers, speakers, celebrities, people making impacts on the world. Keep listening, because I guarantee you're going to get thrown so many freebies and prizes and just stuff just by being a listener with us.
And I just want to mention for tomorrow's event, if you do come out, make sure you let us know that you heard this on the radio here with the Create It Now radio show, so you can get the free content from Jase, and it's located at ICLV Prayer Mountain on 3425 Cliff Shadow Parkway. That's up by 215 in Cheyenne towards the Summerlin area. So come on out at 9 a.m. and say hello and get your free gift.
And I'm going to be bringing a straitjacket with me, and so I need a really strong guy out there to tie me up in that thing so I can't get out. And
if anything, come out to watch AJ get tied up.
We tried to get him a gag, but no, he wanted the straitjacket. So
one step at a time.
Yeah.
Excellent. So yeah, the more involved with the community, we were talking in the last few days about how we're going to find some different projects to work on. So if anybody has any ideas or thoughts that they want to join in with, let us know. Send us an email, createitnowmedia.com, and let's get some things going.
So let me explain that because I think over the next couple of weeks, you're going to see a transformation. Right now, it's just kind of like letting people know about the project that's going to be coming up. And then once we launch it, and we're looking to do it as soon as possible, it's going to be amazing. So the idea is that, the whole show isn't about what is it that you want? It's about let's go out and do something. And so we're creating this community. We're going to have people submit projects to us, and we want projects that you will define as a goal or a dream you want to accomplish that can be done in 1 week, 1 month, and then 1 quarter or 3 months. Not a long-term, like 5-year project, because it'll take a long time for us to get to see if we've got results. We want to be able to see and measure it. And so as you submit those projects, we'll choose those. And, since one of the categories is going to be weekly, we'll choose one every single week. And then we're going to call out to our listeners. We're going to use our resources. We're going to use our celebrities, our speakers, our trainers, and we call all those people angels. So you can be an official angel. Yesterday, I saw that Dr. Donna became one of our official angels. Les
wonderful.
Brown is our angel. Jase Souder is one of our angels. Heather Havenwood is one of our angels. And then whatever it is that you want to get accomplished, let's say it's lose weight or build up, increase your business. And we say, well, how do we do that? It's a website or whatever kind of resources we can gather. We're going to apply it and see how much we can get accomplished within that time frame, whether it's 1 week or something. So this is going to be a very do. My gosh, look at what that community has done type of show.
And also the other thing about us, we don't just stick to one topic. Next week, we have some amazing people from the music industry. We have some life coaches. We have some other surprises for you. We have the guy who actually wrote She's Out of My Life, Thomas Baylor, coming on next Tuesday. And he was part of We Are the World. So if you're a musician or a struggling musician and want to ask him questions, we hit every gamut. We are here for you. So like I said, pull over your car, get on the phone, pull out your iPad, text, email, or whatever you need to do to get hold of us. And we are here to help you.
Excellent. One of the biggest things that I always come across, whether it's in my seminars that I'm holding or it's just talking with different people, it's the idea of actual action being taken. A lot of times it's hard for people to take that step just because of the fear or the unknown or getting out of the comfort zone. So pulling in people from a community that have been there and have done something that we have to do that's not in our realm that we've done before is a great way to take that step. So it's almost like having that handhold, so it's a little bit more comfortable in being able to take the action that we need to take. One of my favorite phrases is analysis paralysis. We can talk about it and we can plan it forever, but until we actually take action, nothing's going to get done and nothing's going to change. So we need to make sure we're taking that action and helping each other out.
Absolutely, I agree. And starting next week, we're actually going to have a sign on our door that says fear does not belong here.
Nice.
So every time we walk in and our guests walk in, they know there's no fear here. This is it. Okay, you are listening to Create It Now Radio. Please call us in at 702-731-1230 and the website createitnowmedia.com.
We'll be right back.
We'll be right back.
Why wait to accomplish your dreams when you can create them now? It's time to put your dreams into motion. Hi, this is Dawn Elizabeth with the Create It Now radio show on KLAV 1230 AM. Join us every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday from 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. We will help you move from a dream state to a create state. Become a part of the conversation on the Create It Now radio show about why some people dream it versus why other people create it. Every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday from 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. on KLAV.
Hey, it's Roxy from the 702 Rock Show, right here at VegasAllNetRadio.com. Listen to my show every Friday, 4 to 5 p.m. to hear about local artists, musicians, fashion designers, and more right here in Las Vegas. So tune in every Friday, 4 to 5 p.m. to hear me, Michelle Roxy Davis, right here at VANR on the 702 Rock Show.
Create It Now. Continues. Here again, Jonathan Stone, Dawn Elizabeth, and AJ Boyden.
Welcome back to the Create It Now radio show. We have a very special second part to our interview that I'm going to throw to AJ right now, and he's going to take control and make you guys lose fear.
So if you didn't listen yesterday, we started an interview with Jase Souder, and it was an interview that we did previously just a couple of days ago because he was going to Salt Lake City, where he was yesterday, and he just killed it out there, just really helped out a whole lot of people. And he's going to be here tomorrow, and yet we wanted to make sure that you got the full idea of the interview that we had, because he's on this 18, 20 city tour where he is helping small businesses. So he's out there living what we're talking about, is helping people starting to create it now right away, helping him with marketing and sales. And yet he's really doing it with a different approach from behind the scenes type of thing. And so to pick up, the interview is where we were talking about how he prepares and, you know, the things that he does on how he's putting this whole tour together. And there's a lot of things you can learn just by his example. And so here we go with the part 2 of our interview with Jase Souder.
That as speakers we have to do that people never think about, like getting the clothes dry cleaned and dropping the dog off at the dog wash.
Do you have any traditions before you get on stage?
The stuff we learned from Marshall years ago, we do this thing where we wave our hand, whoa, whoa, yes, 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 pump up and do that in the bathroom. And, you know,
And for all the people standing outside the bathroom, you need to come out and go, bang.
Well, yeah.
Because there's a whole crew of people sitting outside there going, what is he doing in there?
You know, we're talking about mindset. I think that's the most critical piece of all of them. And you guys are experts in that. It's like, if you give people all the sales, Kiyosaki says in his book, Rich Dad Poor Dad, you guys have read that, right? Mm-hmm. Most people focus on building a better hamburger rather than the skills of selling and delivering the hamburger. But even if you have the perfect hamburger and you have the perfect way to sell and deliver it and market it, if the mindset's off, someone won't do any of it. That's the most important part. Like fear, how many times have you had fear come up when you're in pursuit of what you really want? It's over and over and over, and we either cow to it and we say no to our dreams and we fade on our dreams, or we say yes, and that on the other side of that yes is that life that we want. Like everything we want lies on the other side of that yes in the face of fear. When there's no agreement, when there's no way to get through, when there's no evidence that it's good. Man, you guys, I was melting down the other day. Like, am I stupid to do this? Am I just crazy? I was like...
And then you asked me and I said a little bit.
Thank you, AJ. Remember that community thing I was talking about? If anyone has a community, please email me at... But yeah, it's on the other side of that. And I think, you know, we got to be a little bit of good crazy.
What I love about what I think people are going to experience is, unlike a seminar where you're going to go see... you know, this guru who says, you know, do what I say and, you'll become like me and, you know, just preaching from a, you know, up above type of thing. You're kind of, hey, I've been there. I've done it. I know this works and let's do it together. You've got more of a we mentality to it, which really is really good for building your community. So I think that the people who go to your event are going to have a sense of community, kind of let's do it all. And that's what we're about. Community, and let's do it all together.
You guys are awesome.
And going back on your crazy thing, Dawn and I actually have a statement, but it's more of a new tagline. You can't fix crazy, so go with it.
I like that.
Just go with it.
You know, write that down for the show.
You can't fix crazy, so just go with it. Make it happen. I mean, who's going to stop you?
That's beautiful. I like that.
You know.
The only person that can stop you really is you. So it's a decision that we make.
Yeah.
Are we going to stop or are we going to keep going?
Yeah, right on.
So we've been talking here with Jase Souder and talking about the USAVictoryTour.com. And he will be here in Las Vegas at the end of this week. So if you are interested in being a part of it, please go to the website and sign up.
What cities are you doing? We never got to that.
Oh, yeah. So we've got Salt Lake, Vegas, and then we'll be going from Vegas down across the southeast. We'll be going to Tennessee, up to Ohio, then into New York, then to Atlanta, Indianapolis, Minnesota, and then we'll come back down through Austin, Marble Falls, Texas, which is a little town north of Austin,
amazing.
Phoenix, Westlake, California, up to San Jose, and then back down to Orange County and Irvine.
Have you ever driven on the road that long?
No, 10,000 miles.
Wow.
But that's why I want to get an RV. So one of the reasons we're getting the RV is so the video guys can. So here's what things we're doing. We're creating this. We're looking for a better word. Maybe you can help me out with this. Instead of a reality show, like a documentary, because it's really not like fake drama. But what I want to show people, we're talking about the fear and stuff. One of the things I want to show people is like, so tomorrow morning I'm on Fox 5 here in Vegas, right? So at 6 a.m. I have a radio interview where I'm going to call into a Salt Lake City place. And then at 7, I'm on local TV on Fox 5 and I'm watching the show today and like, you know, it's high production value and all that. 2 million people in Vegas, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, so today I'm like, okay, but tomorrow I'll be like, you know, I'm going to be nervous. And what I want to show in the reality show, I want to show in the documentary, like, that I really go through that and what it's really like and that ideally I'll look like a pro on TV, but usually like 15 minutes before that I'm neurotic and freaking out, right? But I wanted people to see that because so many gurus come across like, oh, everything's perfect. No. And the days the gurus are dead. It's like, no, I get scared. I get nervous. We all will, but you just push through it. That's one of the big mistakes I think small business owners make and entrepreneurs. They don't have a scripted sales presentation, you know? And am I going to offer stuff? Yeah, you bet. But it's different. My attitude around this stuff is no longer like, you got to buy it. It's more like, if you liked what you heard and you want more, here, I got it. If you don't, I'm going to give you so much information, you're going to leave, like, your life will be changed either way.
When people purchase these lessons and stuff, do you have a community that follows with it where they register, they opt in, they can talk, blog? Yep. Do you give daily affirmations or weekly or monthly affirmations? Just keep everybody pumped and motivated to keep moving.
Actually, we're just setting up. I've contracted with a friend of mine who has Room 21 Media out of California, and they build like platforms and campuses for high-end trainers. And he's in this leadership program with me, so we're doing like a JV thing. So for the first time ever, I'm really getting my big membership program set up. So we're gonna have like a free level, and people could join and connect and stay in touch. And then different levels as people pay more, they'll get certain products, and then as they pay more, they get more products and admission to live seminars and stuff. So it's really. I think my thought is there's going to be someone like when we go to Austin who's like on fire and she's a solopreneur and she doesn't have anyone in her life who speaks her language and they all look at her like she's crazy. Like what's she doing running her own business? What's she doing going to seminars and paying all this money to change her life and, taking a Friday off to go up to a training. But we get that woman. And I want her to connect with people who get her, who are like, yeah, you're doing the right things. Because we know this is what works, right? But the average person has no clue what we're talking about, right? The average person's just punching that clock and stuck in rush hour.
But one thing I think is great, and as you know, I have another network as well called Real Wisdom TV.
Yeah.
And with some major networks now and YouTube and stuff. And this would be great. And what we like about it is also that you're going into these communities and you're working with local charities.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's absolutely amazing. So we're very, very excited about seeing the documentary and getting you out there and putting you on, on a major network or something like that, because that's what's really important to us. And I think to all of us, it's about going out and helping charities and communities making a difference.
So what we're doing, so we'll be in Salt Lake tomorrow evening, and we're doing a comedy hypnosis show with the Board of Realtors. Mm-hmm. And they're going to charge, but we're not going to make anything off of it. We're giving our time, and we're going to give 100% of the proceeds to a charity, and the charity that she's supporting. And they build like they build places where homeless teens and stuff, they take care of them, or families that are really destitute can come in. And we have these different charities across the country that are just phenomenal. And it's so great to be a part of this and to be able to make a difference locally as we travel nationally,
And are those charities on the websites as well? Are they going to be as you get to that?
So like when they go to the USAVictoryTour.com, there's a whole list of all our cities. And then when you click on the city, it'll open up a new window and it'll have the information on who the local host is and what charity we're supporting and all that.
So how many people do you think will be at each seminar?
I think the first couple, well, it depends on what happens with our, how well I do on Fox tomorrow and how many people are watching and register from there. But our first couple, we just got the systems in place. I just created PowerPoint presentations for the inspectors to show to the realtors, and we're getting the system down, so I don't think they'll be too big. But I think as we go, we'll probably get 100, 200 people per stop, and then I think by the end, because we're doing the reality shows, as we're showing that, we're going to drip it out as we go on the tour, so people will know us and they'll be like, "Wow, this is a real thing," and ideally that will spread and that will grow. One of my beliefs in marketing now is you've got to give a ton of stuff away, and people want to know who you are. So like podcasting, do radio shows like you're doing videos, but I'm telling you, the short ones where people just tune in to get to know you, but then people want more. They want to see like an hour conversation, giving people that chance to know you. So what'll happen is, my thought is by the time we get to California, we're going to have 300-400 people in the room.
It's nice. And the other thing is, because we all support what you do, next Friday, when you are actually here on the 13th, we'd love to come down. We're going to join you.
That would be awesome.
And be part of it and possibly speak or do whatever we can to help you, and maybe live broadcast from there.
Yeah.
And maybe even jump on the bus with you.
Oh, that would be so great. You guys could ride on the bus. Yeah, we want to film people on only friends and special people get to ride on the bus.
We could do masterminds on there and learn about the new city you're going to, and what we can help is all of us as a community.
Yeah.
And if people have any other ideas, they can always call into the show too to give. So with this whole trip, I know that you incur a lot of expenses and it must be tough. I'm sure you have your angels out there. We like to call people angels that help us get to the next level. And in your case, the angels as sponsors.
Yeah.
So would you like to, appreciate them, a shout out and let them know?
I would. I really would. So, locally in Las Vegas, our host is Charles Bulfer, who has Vegas Inspect, and he's a building inspector, and I absolutely love this guy. His theory is there's nothing we'll find that can't be fixed. He used to be a builder. So if I was buying a house, I'd have Charles do my inspection. And what's great is I would normally charge $500 a day for this training, but he's paying my travel, he's paying for the meeting room, and he's paying my speaker fee. So it's absolutely free for everybody who attends. Doggy District. I take my dog to Doggy District. So they're going to watch my dog Napa. Oh, we're bringing Napa on the trip. And we're going to hook up a GoPro to Napa and have the Napa cam on different parts of the
dog.
Oh yeah, Napa's my dog.
Yeah, not a
Hopefully they got that out of me saying he'll be staying at Doggy District. Then Elliot and Company's my grooms, the guys grooming me. And then, we're talking with 2 RV places and a suit maker, so I can't tell you which one it is yet. But we may have a guy making our suits and stuff. And so just what's really cool about having the show is it's a chance for everyone to win. They get PR, we get to promote a local business, we get some stuff comped in or traded out.
And how are you promoting it? Besides doing radio shows and stuff, you're doing banners. In case people are listening and they want to sponsor, so how do they know?
Oh yeah, they get logoed. They get logoed at the events. We put them up the PowerPoint. If they're in the city, we introduce them from stage. But the real win for them is when we go out, we're going to film me actually using the service. So we're going to not just talk about their service, but I was thinking about Doggy District, but we'll actually film me going in there and dropping off Napa and do some shots of the place. Or tonight when I get my shave, we're going to film that, put it into the reality show. Because it's services I actually really use, and it's not people that are brand new to me. It's people I've been using for a while. Well, except for the RV. I've never rented an RV before.
Have you ever driven an RV before?
No.
No.
I'm nervous too.
That should be exciting.
Have you?
No, God no. I'm a Jew. We don't drive RVs.
What does that mean?
We have people driving for us. Yeah.
That makes more sense.
Yeah, exactly.
Did I tell you one of my first jobs ever was in a kosher deli? Mr. Deli-tizer.
No.
Oh, I love whitefish.
Jase, you're going to be all over the country with, from all these different cities with entrepreneurs, and that's exactly, entrepreneurs and more, and that's who we want to talk to. We'd love to follow you. Can we have you call in and give us kind of the state of every city you're in and follow you a little bit?
That would be awesome. Yeah, I could give you like my report for the week, like the highs and lows of the week, how we did in sales or changing lives and helping people, and any challenges
want to know
we
the
face.
mindset and challenges of not just here in Las Vegas, but all over the country, and that would be awesome. So follow Jase at usavictorytour.com. Keep listening to our show and hear how he's doing. Give us some feedback. Tell us what you like, what you want to find out, what you want to hear, and those sort of things. So you are listening to Create It Now Radio. We are here every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday from 3 to 4 on AM 1230 Vegas, as well as Vegas AllNet Radio.
Okay, Jase, it was an absolute honor for you to be here with us and join us, and I'm sure everybody at home that's listening to the Creative Now radio show is really rooting you on, and we know, we are. And I know it's going to be a huge success, and we're here to help you in any way we can. Are there any words of wisdom or anything that you would like to leave for our audience?
Yeah, two thoughts. One is when I first got into being a life coach and doing seminars, who am I qualified to do this? And my friend Steven really summarized it. He said, I think it's really simple. If you can help people, you help people. That's your whole qualification. And then, there's a huge part of me that's like, are we going to get just flamed online? Is stuff going to happen? And so I'd like to, share with you guys one of my poems, like something that just keeps me going. And it's by Teddy Roosevelt. Is it okay if I read this?
Please.
It goes like this. And this is the thing I think about when I'm afraid of the critics, or I'm afraid of going, or I'm afraid of what people would say. This is what goes through my ears, and maybe it'll help someone out there. It is not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles, or where the doer of deeds could have done better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs and comes up short again and again, and I would add again and again and again, because there is no effort without error or shortcoming, but who knows the great devotions, the great enthusiasms, who spends himself for a worthy cause, who at best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at worst, if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly, so that his or her place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who knew neither victory nor defeat. That's what we're taking on.
That's awesome. That's wonderful.
And so my prayer for you is that you dare greatly. You're born, one day you're going to die. I hope in between you live a huge life. You play it full out. You win or lose. But at least you're never with those cold and timid souls who knew neither victory nor defeat.
You're listening to Create It Now Radio with our guest Jase Souder and your hosts Jonathan Stone, AJ Clayton, and Dawn Elizabeth.
Are you in marketing and want to know how to stop being taken advantage of? Would you like a steady stream of clients? How about just a faster way of growing your business? Well, you're in luck. Expert Jase Souder, best-selling author, creator of the Persuasion Paradigm, is holding an exclusive training seminar this Friday from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. at the ICLV Prayer Mountain. For information, call Charles Bulfer at 702-237-7697. That's 702-237-7697. You'll learn the ins and outs of electronic marketing, how to measure your returns, and real-world examples of business done right. The price is free, but space will be going quickly, so get your RSVP by Wednesday. Once again, this world-class seminar will be held this Friday from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. at the ICLV Prayer Mountain. For information, call Charles Bulfer at 702-237-7697. That's 702-237-7697. Come and meet the Create It Now team in person.
Create It Now. Continues. Here again, Jonathan Stone, Dawn Elizabeth, and AJ Boyden.
Welcome back to the Create It Now radio show. We have a very special guest actually calling in from California, Dr. Jim Turrell from the Center of Spiritual Living. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing great, Jonathan. Thanks for having me on the show today.
Oh, it's absolutely our pleasure. So please, explain to everybody what you do and what you're about. We're about helping people create their dreams.
Right, and what we're about is helping people live the life of opportunity that's before them, and to also engage their connection with God in the process of doing that. So everybody's connected, and we're just about helping them stay connected in that spiritual realm of beingness, which then begins to translate itself into an experience, which always is something greater than what they expected or anticipated. So that's kind of what we do, and that's sort of our mission and our vision statement, is opening people's lives up to a greater opportunity of being.
So, Dr. Jim Turrell, this is A.J. Poyden. It sounds like you've got a real good pulse of what's happening out there. And in times, when times are turbulent for individuals, there's a certain commonality that people are going through. What kind of challenges are you seeing coming up more and more lately? And, where should they focus on?
Good question. The challenge, the actual ultimate challenge that we see, which sort of ebbs and flows, is the amount of fear that people are feeling in their lives versus a sense of confidence. So most people live from a point of view of fear. They're afraid of certain things, and most of the time their whole direction is being sort of shuffled around by what they're afraid of. So what we're seeking to do is to help people understand that they don't have to live in fear. They can, in fact, live in confidence that the world is not their enemy. There's an old saying, the world may not owe you a living, but the universe does. And so when you tune into that infinite presence of who you are, and you begin to see your life as an amazing gift that's been given to you, filled with opportunity upon opportunity to utilize spiritual principles and not live in the old precedents, then you can start to get a picture of yourself that's different. But it's like anything else. It takes time to learn this emerging sense of self and then begin to trust it. So trusting life is really the key to happiness. And so what we're seeking to do is keep encouraging people to trust their lives and to know the difference between expectation and expectancy, for instance. So the expectation, if life doesn't work out this way, then I'm fearful that something bad is going to happen, versus an expectancy is that no matter how it works out, it's always going to help me see a greater idea and a greater opportunity to love and to express and to also go deeper in my relationship with God. So that's the challenge, and it's also the interesting experience of working with people in various degrees of fear and worry and concern, and just helping them see that they don't have to live that way.
So when you meet someone that is in that fear state, and they get inspired by you to start trusting themselves more and those sort of things, and yet it's easy to be strong and confident and spiritual when we're in church, or when we're surrounded by friends, and yet when we're by ourselves, are there any kind of like action steps that a person might take? Is it like reading certain things, or how they might view things differently?
Yeah, there is. But, it's like you kind of have to understand and learn the scope and range of who you are. And then you take small steps. And it's kind of like if you held your hands like 6 inches apart and you said that's the amount of consciousness or awareness that you have. And so that sort of gives you a narrow confine. And every time that you start to live your life from a principle rather than a precedent or a historical sense of yourself, you open that gap a little bit larger. So now it becomes, rather than a narrow confine, it becomes an open opportunity. It's sort of like when Siddhartha sat under the Bodhi tree and became the Buddha, is because he was capable of opening up his heart and his mind to seeing life from a completely different point of view. So everything that was sent against him was translated into flower petals and things like that. So, but it's very difficult for people to conceive of that when they live in such a dualistic notion of themselves. So they only see the good or the bad or the up or the down or the in and the out, and they can't see that it's all united. And in fact, if they would just sort of pull back, take a nice big deep breath, and center themselves on spirit, they could do that. But it's the practice of learning how to meditate, learning how to be still, and knowing there's no easy fix here either. It's not a bullet. And typically, people make those kinds of changes when they get a pivotal experience in their life, like the death of a loved one or the loss of a job, or something like that emotionally sort of drains them, and then they have to really re-examine who they are.
You know, Dawn and I are both nodding our heads just because I think we totally agree with you. You know, one of the first steps is to know yourself first. We both do communication training, and before communicating to others, you got to know yourself. And I know that you also speak to people a lot about speaking and, you know, in communicating your thoughts and ideas. I want to know your thoughts around that.
Well, yeah, I teach people how to speak without notes. And I originally did this about 17, 18 years ago because a lot of my colleagues, and I've been a minister for 29 years, and a lot of my colleagues I noticed were burning out because they were spending anywhere from 6 to 10 hours a week trying to write a 30-minute message. And then they were worried about whether or not they got it right. And I'm a jazz musician also, and I was a professional musician before I became a minister. And what I did was I took the whole concept of jazz and I translated it into public speaking.
Cool.
And what I found was, when you're playing in jazz, you never lose your place. You always know where you are in the tune, and you have this vocabulary of various things that you can speak, musically within the frame of that. So I just took that whole concept and moved it over to public speaking, and I created a template, which helps you take a look and examine subject matter from many, many different angles, from the angle of whether it's a problem, a solution issue, or a challenge, and then what do you have to learn to solve that problem, and then what would life be like if it was solved. That's the first part. And the second part has to do with voice of authenticity. What are your felt needs? What do you value? What are you in conflict? What's the last 24 hours of your life been like? And then purpose. What's the action you're asking your audience to take, and what result might they expect if they took it? And then interactive elements, which have to do with the mental, spiritual, emotional, and intellectual pressure that's been put upon you by this topic. And so those are just various components of that template. So when I sit down to write a talk, you can usually write it in about 45 minutes and then deliver it without notes. Because that template, I always know where I am in the frame of that template, and I understand how to tell stories, and I understand the advanced tools of composition like metaphor and simile and words and analogy and the rhetorical tools that you need to understand how to use. So I teach people how to do that. And then eventually they can do the thing that all speakers want to be able to do, is to think and speak simultaneously.
Mm-hmm. Right. That's where I always get caught up.
Sure.
I think it's the thinking or the speaking one.
Well, once you become the analogy I use, it's kind of like if you were going to deliver a pizza and you ordered a pizza and the guy showed up at your door and he said, "Well, I made this pizza 3 days ago. I hope you like it." You wouldn't want it. But if I said I just created this pizza and I put all this wonderful fresh ingredients in it and it's very tasty, then you deliver the message the same way. You deliver the message like you deliver the pizza. And then you remove yourself from worrying about whether or not it was done right, because you put your heart into it. And if you put your heart into it, it's not about what other people think. It's about did you feel complete in delivering that message. So it's a completely different point of view of how the speaker interacts with the audience too.
Right, and I agree with that, because I think sometimes when you overwrite a speech or overwork it, it becomes stale to the speaker as well.
Yeah, well, the standard joke in ministerial schools is everybody's got 3 good talks, but do you have 50?
Yeah.
Can you produce? Can you do it every week and make it interesting? And that is the challenge. But jazz musicians, you can play the same tune, every week, and it'll come out differently, but it'll still be played, and it'll still be beautiful, and it'll say what needs to be said in that moment.
And how or when did you realize, going from that jazz musician, could you use that in presentations? Well,
it was about 4 years into the ministry, and I was getting frustrated because I don't like looking down at notes, because it breaks, it's like you said, you comment, it's like you read something, you comment on it, then you have to look back and see what's the next thing you're going to comment on. So it's kind of like mentally stuttering, and so it just occurred to me out of the blue, one day, you don't have to do it this way, and then I started working on it, and I spent about 4 years writing the book called Speaking from the Heart, and I printed up about 2,200 copies back in the mid '90s, and went around the United States, and I taught hundreds of my colleagues how to do this. and sold all the books, and then I never reprinted it. And sometimes the book I noticed on Amazon, you can go on Amazon and buy it used. It's still used in seminaries to teach public speaking, and so it's like when the students are out of class, the book's cheap, but when the students are in class, because there is no more other books available, I've seen the book for as much as $1,200, which always amazes me, but it also tells me that I need to reprint the book, and just haven't gotten to it yet.
Well, I would just print like 5 at a time and throw them on eBay and Amazon for $1,200.
Right. Well, there you go, Jonathan.
Exactly. You get it, sign it. It's an extra couple hundred.
Yeah.
I've seen so many speakers, and if you're an expert and you are looking to get your message out there or inspire groups, what he just said is absolute gold. It really is. Getting to the point to where you can just speak your mind as you're doing it. I have seen, people spend years perfecting a 5 or a 20-minute speech, and yet then there's other speakers I see who'll go, 5 days of just training, and it's not scripted. It's just speaking from your heart, and it gives you a chance to really connect with the crowd. And I think your message and that is a book. You're speaking without notes.
It's called Speaking from the Heart.
Oh, Speaking from the Heart.
That's the name of the book. And now I have a website called. Well, you could, but I have a website called theinstantpublicspeaker.com. And if you go there, I wrote a 13-page report on the 8 secrets of speaking without notes, so it gives you an overview. And anybody is welcome to go to the website and download that if they choose. And if they do, as a matter of fact, this week we will send them the first 2 video lessons about how this process works. And that's been the challenge, is taking this from a personal teaching experience to scale it up to what they call learning module systems. And that is definitely a challenge. But I've been working with Camtasia for about 8 or 9 years, and I've gotten better and better at creating videos like that. But it's still it's what I call a lot of research.
I believe everybody needs to learn those public speaking skills. The show is called Create It Now, and whatever it is that you want to create, and if you're having a challenge with it, well, then it's likely you're going to need other people's help. And you can just go out there and say, hey, can you help me? Or you can learn to inspire groups of people to help you. And when you can learn that skill, it's the world becomes your oyster, and then it also helps you kind of connect. It amplifies your heart, your spirit, and brings the community together.
It does, and I really feel good about that particular piece of the work that I do in helping people accomplish that end, to literally trust themselves. But sometimes when I'm speaking, because I don't speak with notes, and when I'm speaking, sometimes people think I'm being extemporaneous, and really I'm not. It's kind of like a song. There's a melody. There's a very specific theme. There's a very specific counter theme. There are very specific aspects to it, but it flows as if it's extemporaneous, and that's the most interesting experience of it all.
Yeah. And I've actually experienced it. I don't know if you remember, I was there at your 4th of July sermon, and you dressed up like Benjamin Franklin.
Yeah.
And you did your whole sermon as Benjamin Franklin, and I thought that was brilliant.
Yeah. I've done Socrates too, which is a really interesting experience. But I wrote a book on Socrates called Socrates' Secret, but I published very few of them because it was my first attempt at sort of crossing over historical fiction. And Socrates, interestingly enough, he was noted, and it's pretty well documented that he would go into states of catatonic reverie for 2 or 3 days and not move. And when he came out of those states, he always said he was guided, but he never said who his guide was. So I gave him a guide, Proteus, who's a sort of a minor Greek god who was a shapeshifter, and sort of a leprechaun-esque type of character who if you could hold on to him, he would have to reveal the truth to you. So he basically learned how to hold on to Proteus, and Proteus told him the truth about humanity and its connection with the universe, and so on and so on. So it was my first shot at that. But I wrote another book called The Secret According to Jesus. No one is left behind. So it's constantly reminding people that this gift of life is so precious and so remarkable that to live in anything other than gratitude makes no sense at all. no matter where you were at in terms of your economics or even anything else. And that's the attitude of getting people to let go of fear and trust who they are and trust the life they've been given to live.
Right. We definitely agree with that. You know, yesterday we had Les Brown on here, and somebody sent in this amazing question. And let me ask you this, because I've been thinking about it. What do you think the difference is between inspiration and motivation?
That's a good question. There's actually three aspects to that question. There's inspiration, there's behavior, and there's motivation. And it fits into an acronym called IBM, inspiration, behavior, and motivation. And behavior is what sort of indicates whether or not you're inspired or if you're just being sort of tricked or manipulated, or if you've manipulated yourself. But when you're living from inspiration, you're living from spirit. And when you're living from spirit, you're living in the now. When you're living in the now, then you're completely free to be yourself in the moment. You know, that was Eckhart Tolle's whole theme in The Power of Now, is to be alive in the moment, because there's no other place to be alive. You can't be alive tomorrow, and you can't be alive yesterday. You're alive now, or you're not alive. And a lot of people are it's interesting to me how much the zombie theme has been in through TV. Sort of this...
all over.
Yeah, well, sort of this unconscious feeling that people are walking around like in a state of zombieism, as if they were hypnotized by the world that they're living in, which they are many times, and they can't figure out how to wake up. And then when you do wake up and you see this amazing possibility and this potential in who you are, and you're only here for a very short period of time, in the eternal continuum of life, why would you do anything but just launch yourself into creation, which is what you were intended to do anyway? So it's an interesting dilemma about inspiration and motivation. Motivation can sometimes, if your behavior is not motivated by spirit, and it's motivated by precedent or history or memory or the emotional content of your subjective mind, then typically you are in a very tribal idea of yourself. But if you're motivated by principles, and a principle is something like love or peace or joy, and I know that might sound a little airy-fairy to some people, but truly if you were to sit still and just focus on love, it would begin to inform your behavior, and then your motivation is entirely different for how you proceed forth in your day. It's kind of like you stop hurrying, you stop worrying, you start getting things done deliberately. You deliberately do things peacefully. And
what inspires and motivates you right now? I mean, what's something important that you're working on that just gets you up excited every day?
That's a good question, too, because I'm never bored, and I'm always in the process of creation. So I'm always creating either a class or I'm working on I just finished a book called How to Spiritually Complete a Relationship, because I notice a lot of people have this sort of incomplete sense about themselves. So I teach them how to bring relationships to completion. And I said, the one thing worse than school was not an F, it was an incomplete. Because if you got an incomplete, that means you weren't done. So I teach people how to complete things in their minds. And I also am teaching a class right now, and just created this one called the CSL Writers Workshop, because everybody's got a story, and very few people understand how to put that story on paper. And one of the things that I'm sort of really good at is helping people translate ideas onto paper. So I created this class called CSL Writers Workshop, and I put together a team of 4 people. So one really excellent writing teacher named Lee Pound, and myself, who I teach writing and speaking, and also Jeff Brown, who teaches a website and how to create the best website you can to promote yourself, and then Danielle Cavalucci, who teaches social media marketing. And we have 3 workshops, 3 one-day workshops. And the first workshop, we teach you how to actually put your ideas on paper and write an ebook, which is shorter normally than other books, 15 to 25 pages. And then we teach you, at the second workshop, we teach you how to edit it and then post it. And the third workshop, we teach you how to market it, and then we give you a means to do that, and so that you can recover all the money you spent on the workshop. So there's nobody else doing that, actually teaching you how to write a book. And writing isn't like super complicated. It can be relatively simple, but there are a few things you do need to know and how to organize your thoughts, especially for an ebook, which is different than writing, let's say, a 150-page book. And I don't know if you've heard of the word vanity press. Have you ever heard of that?
Yes.
So, vanity press means You go out and you got somebody who published 5,000 copies of a book that you were really happy with, and then you have no idea how to sell them. And they sit in your garage. And that's called vanity press. So we really wanted to help people write things that were meaningful to them, and then help them to develop an audience and find that audience through social media, that's amazing right there. That you can go on to social media websites, and through Google Analytics you can find your audience and then start to develop relationships with people who have websites and develop lists and then start to market your book.
No, I think that's great, and it's so wonderful for our Create It Now audience, anybody who wants to write a book or needs to learn. So we will actually send people out to your website. And please email me all your information so we can put it up on our site again. And I definitely want to learn more about how to get out of my head when I'm speaking and to do these whole speeches. And so at the end of each show, when we have our special guests, we ask them to be one of our angels to help people. So we're going to ask you to be an angel, and what can we give something special to our guest?
Well, if you go to the instantpublicspeaker.com,
Perfect.
You can download the free report on the 13-page report on the 8 secrets of speaking without notes. That'll help you right away. That'll give you a concepts, and you'll begin to see it and understand it right off the bat. But if you do that, and you let us know when you email us, because you have to give us your email to get that, then what we'll do is we'll send you the first 2 videos as our gift to you. They're short little 5 or 6 minute videos that helps you get started in that process. And I'll also send you a copy, the first 2 chapters of my book, How to Spiritually Complete a Relationship. And the first chapter is It Over? And the second chapter is Can We Talk? And then the last 3 chapters are Rules for Separation, Think About What You Want. And then I call the last chapter is The Disentango. How do you disentangle yourself from a relationship without hurting yourself or the other person?
Okay, well, thank you so much, Dr. Jim Turrell. We can't wait to hear from you again. We have to cut to a commercial now, but we will be in touch. And for all of our listeners, thank you so much for listening. And you can Twitter us at Dream It or Create It, or email us at createitnowmedia.com.
Have you ever wondered what's the difference between those that dream about a better life and those who create it?
Are you waiting to accomplish your dreams and goals?
Let's create it now and put your dreams into motion.
Hi, this is AJ Pladen.
Dawn Elizabeth.
And Jonathan Stone.
With the Create It Now radio show, join the 3 of us Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday from 3 p.m. to 4 p.m.
Become a part of the conversation on the Create It Now radio show about why some people create it.
See you every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday on KLAV
AM 1230.
We're blowing it out at Gene Woods Racing Experience, Las Vegas's newest premier outdoor adrenaline-powered gasoline go-karting track with speeds in excess of 45 miles per hour if you've got the balls. We've got 2-for-1 Tuesdays, buy one and your friend rides free. We've got $5 off coupons, and remember, on your birthday, members ride free. And they get a free Gene Woods Racing Experience t-shirt, open Monday through Friday, 4 p.m. till 11. Saturday and Sunday, noon till 11. And we're located at 121 East Sunset Road and Las Vegas Boulevard at the Sports Center across from McCarran Airport. Come blow the doors off your competition at Gene Woods Racing Experience. Once you race here, you won't go anywhere else. Be there. Be there. Be there.
And thank you so much for tuning in today to the Create It Now radio show. I want to thank our guests, Jase Souder and also Dr. Jim Turrell. Don't forget that we will be at the USAVictoryTour.com event tomorrow, so check out USAVictoryTour.com for the location and the times, and go ahead and register for that free event. That's all the time we have today. You can re-listen to the broadcast on VegasAllNetRadio.com, 11 p.m. to midnight tonight, and we'll be back next week, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday from 3 to 4 p.m. with lots of special guests, so don't miss it. Dream big, take action, and create it now.
Have an amazing weekend.